Hello and welcome back to Wireman's Whimsy. Today we are going to make this Dear Friend, How Are You card. We're using the embossing folder called Pretty Flowers, and we're using stamps from the Eden's Garden set. So let's get going on how to make this card. We need a standard card base, and I've got a piece of basic white in 5 1/4 by 4 that I've already run through the Pretty Flowers embossing folder. And then we need a piece of pear pizzazz in 2 3/4 by 4. So it'll go across the front of the Pretty Flowers embossed piece. And then we need a piece of basic white 2 1/2 by 4 to create the flower panel on the front. And you're going to need a scrap of basic white that will fit the greeting and one of the dies from the Tasteful Labels set. So let's go ahead and get started. So what we need to do is we need to stamp the flowers. So I did a double stamp on this one. I inked up in the Blushing Bride and I stamped it down in the middle of my 2 1/2 by 4. And when I did that, I thought, that's a little bit pale. So I inked up again and I just rotated a little bit and stamped again. And that gave me a really nice kind of double image. It really kind of oomphed everything up a little bit. Now, this one is a bit difficult to stamp and make a mask out of so that you don't overlap your leaves. So what I did is I didn't ink up the stem on the leaves. I just went in to my ink pad, but I didn't ink the stems. And then I just overlaid it like that. So it almost looks like the leaves are coming out from behind, and I've just inked that up incorrectly. So let me just grab my Stampin' Scrub mat. See, I get going, I get all excited, and then I do things backwards. Okay, so I'm just again going to come in and just make sure I'm inked up, but not getting that stem in. And then I'm placing it down so that it looks like the leaves are coming out from behind. Again, this is because usually I would mask this, but this stamp, and especially since I double stamped it, doesn't really lend itself to masking. So I'm just going to continue to come around and lay that in, just ever so carefully to try and make it look like the leaves are coming out from behind. So I'm just going to keep doing that until I'm happy with the result. And I think I'm okay there. Yep, I'm okay there. I'm debating that one, putting an extra one right here, but I'm like, nope, let's just stop where we are. Okay, so now we just need to build the card. As I said, I have already put this through. And I dimensionalized this. Because it's white on white with the embossing, I wanted it to stand up just a little bit. So I just used dimensionals on here. And I'm using up the edges of my dimensional sheet. Once you've used up all your dimensionals, you have the edges. And they are just as useful as your little hexagon shapes. So don't ever throw away your dimensional sheet when you've used up all the little hexagons, because you can use your scissors and just snip the edges and create a whole bunch more dimensionals for yourself. Okay, so we are just going to, this is definitely directional, so I'm going to make sure the flowers are up. I'm going to put this down at the edge, make sure I'm kind of squared up, and drop it down just like that. Okay, so I am now going to just flat mount my stamped image onto the Pear Pizzazz background, and it goes edge to edge. So I just need to center it top and bottom. So there we go. And then this is flat mounted onto the embossed background. So I'm going to put just a little bit of extra adhesive on this, just because sometimes if you've got a heavily embossed background, it just needs that little bit extra to adhere to. And I'm just going to place this down side to side, make sure I'm centered and I'm straight, and just drop it down like that. I've already stamped and cut out the greeting, and this again is dimensionalized. And you can see I've already stamped on the back. Paper has two sides, and I quite frequently use both. So we're just going to peel off our dimensionals here, like that. And then I'm just placing this kind of halfway over, maybe a third over the stamped image that I've just put down, and there we go, just like that. You can add decoration to this if you want, if you've got some little gems you want to use, or the little brushed brass butterflies would be good too. But otherwise, here is a lovely Dear Friend, How Are You card you can use to check in with those people that you may be missing. Thank you so much, and let's create together again soon.